A long time ago, back in my BS years, before sailing, before I had a boat, before I was an experienced captain, I used to practice sailing online. I used to use Google Earth to really explore the world, see where the marinas are, see how far you can go in a day. Using the measurement tool, you can get an idea of how much distance you can really cover. And in this video, I'm going to use all the things I've learned in the last 10,000 nautical miles and apply it to a digital sailing video right here with you now. We're going to sail to the Ukraine. So grab a beer, grab a coffee, get yourself situated. Let's go sailing online digitally, and I'll show you how I do it. And you might just learn a few things along the way. So join me as we go sailing digitally to the Ukraine. Let's get into the video. One thing that I did before I bought a sailboat was I digitally sailed. And you can join my Patreon page. You can become a digital deckhand there. And I'm going to show you how I first became a digital deckhand in my BS years before sailing. I used to imagine and dream about sailing, and I would imagine that I had the perfect boat that was all rigged out to go around the world. And what I would do is I would go on to Google Earth here, and I would try to get an idea of what Google Earth looks like versus what the Earth actually is. So the first couple things that I did was sail across Lake Ontario and back, just to get an idea of what I'm dealing with here. Like, I was thinking, I want to go to the Indian Ocean. I want to go to Grenada. I want to go down to the Bahamas. You know what I mean? So I didn't have an idea of what it actually took to do that. But now that I'm an experienced captain, I thought I would do a video with you guys that kind of gives you my perspective on what I think about what we're really dealing with here. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to sail to the Ukraine. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. But as a digital sailor, you can kind of sail anywhere you want. That's the cool thing about it. Just imagine you have the ultimate boat and you're experienced and you know what you're doing, and just think about the principle of sailing, which is covering nautical miles and getting there. And in future videos, I'll go into more details about, I actually started using random number generators and looking at weather charts. I was trying to digitally sail, figure out what it would actually be like. I wanted to go to the Caribbean so bad that in my spare time, the very limited spare time that I had off when I wasn't working, I would spend time here sailing. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to sail to the Ukraine. Why are we going to the Ukraine? I don't know. Figure it out, guys. It's important. All right, so let's say we have I'm going to say we have an Oyster 595. It's a 2011, so it's a little older. It's good, and we can cover good distance because it's got an 80 horsepower. What the hell? You only live once, right? Let's sail a nice boat, okay? And we're in Pickering on an Oyster 595 that we just purchased, and it's here. So what you want to do is you want to go into Google Earth, click the measurement tool. What you want to do is you can start plotting your journey here. Okay, there's the first 20 minutes. We left the marina. We're already 0.3 nautical miles into our trip to the Ukraine. All right. So you can probably cover. Now, this is what's going to be interesting about this. I'm going to show you what I've learned sailing down to the Caribbean, sailing from Bermuda to Antigua. Okay. I'm going to show you what I've learned as a captain, and now we're going to go digitally sailing. I'm going to kind of show you what I've learned here. All right. So you can cover on an Oyster 595, you could probably cover 50 nautical miles a day. All right, so let's go 50 nautical miles up the coast. You're really hugging the coast here. I know it seems to go offshore here, it would take like half an hour to get out here, right? So you're actually kind of hugging the coast. Let's go 50 nautical miles. And we'll say day one is over. Now you got to consider where you're actually going here, right? So let's say the first day was a long day and we made it into Presqu'île Point, right? Boom, there's day one on our trip to the Ukraine. It's the first day. And this is, mind you, I'm a single hander, and it's an oyster 595 is 59 feet long. So maybe I do have a crew there, so we can sail 24 hours a day. Let's say a bunch of buddies are like, Michael, you can't go to the Ukraine alone. You're gonna get killed by the Russians or something. So we pick up some crew in Gosport here. All right, we got some hardcore digital sailors have joined in. All right, so what we're gonna do is we just did 7. Let's say we did 70 nautical miles, and we're tired and we flopped out for the night. That's day 1. All right, so let's move on. Done. All right, it's day 1. So let's continue on. So what we're gonna do is Presqu'île Point. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we've picked up our crew in Presqu'île Point, day 1, and we're now gonna the captain's gonna show off the boat, right? So we're gonna go around. We're gonna do another 60 nautical miles. On this evening, we actually made it to Main Duck. All right, we went around the coast a bit here, and we anchored in Main Duck. This is day 2. We got crew on board, so we can actually do shift sailing now, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 4 crew members that I have on the Oyster 595, and we're going to go up to Kingston, okay? And we're going to continue on. This is now probably day 3, but we're like in the afternoon at this point. This is digital sailing, guys. This is it. You can plan out your trips and get an idea of what you're dealing with, okay? This is probably day 3, day 4 now. 174, day 5. This is just my opinion. Like, some sailors could do it quickly. Day 6, okay? So on day 7, we made it to Montreal. And that's a slim chance of doing that, I'll tell you. It's probably going to take 2 weeks to get up here. But we're on an Oyster 595. It's a really expensive yacht, okay? On day 8, we continue up. What is that? 275. Let's go to like 320, and we'll be on day 8. So day 8, we make it to Quebec City. Look at that. 8 days in, and we're in Quebec City. Now, there are some locks here. There are some other considerations, but we're digital sailors right now. We're not actually dealing with the real situation. It'll probably take you 3 weeks to get, in my opinion, even on an Oyster 595, between 2 and 3 weeks to get up to Quebec City, because there's going to be problems. You're going to have weather. You're going to have days where your crew has to, provisioning days, diesel days, days where you're like, fuck it, let's anchor and drink some beer, have some rum and enjoy life, swing around on the hook. All right, so let's say we're 3 weeks in now, and we're in Quebec City. So 3 weeks is what? 21 days. So this is day 22, 23, let's say, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. We had to go in here and provision, and there was a problem with the engine. We needed oil. So let's say day 28, 29. And now we're getting somewhere here. So what we do is we organize a long passage, okay, all the way to the Channel Port, aux Basques. So we did a long passage. This is now we're now a month in, okay, and we're here. We go into here, and it's like the end of the summer, because we're going over to the Ukraine at the end of the summer. That's what you want to do. You don't want to cross the Atlantic at the wrong time. All right, so 1 second. I had to grab another beer there. Okay, so we're a month into the trip, and we provisioned. All of our crew now is sort of tired. So we came into this cove here, and we swung around the hook late in the season, and we're a month into our trip. Now it's late August, okay? We've done 1,000 nautical miles, essentially. And we're now out of provisions. There's a couple problems with the boat. Just assume this is going to happen. This is what I think we could realistically do in this time period. Okay, so there's a couple issues. We need to have work done to the boat. So we need to go, before we cross the Atlantic, on our way to Ukraine, we need to fix our digital boat. So we had some good times here We were like surfing here. We were doing cool. We explored the beach. We flew drones. We hung out here. We went scuba diving. But now we really got to concentrate on crossing the Atlantic. So we're now 4 weeks into our trip, and we do shift work, and we get into, let's go to Halifax. Let's go all the way to Halifax. We're officially almost at 1,000 nautical miles. See the map changes a little bit here. You can go far without actually going far here. See that? Look at that. It's not actually, that's the Mercator projection we're looking at right now. So we're getting into that part of the world where you can cover distance, and the charts just blaze by. All right, so we're now, month and a week in. We get into all the way up and into, let's take a little zoom out here. Oh, Jesus. Into St. John's. We're not going to go to Halifax. We decided to go to St. John's. All right, so we're now a month and 2 weeks into our trip. We go into St. John's, and we do some, we go right into the city here. We hang out with all the crazy Canadians. There's that, from my experience, from what I know, the people that I've talked to, shout out to Lenny, Captain Jack. He pulled up here and lived here for a while, and no one said anything. He had power. So you can do things like that if you're ballsy enough. So anyway, we went to St. John's. The boat's good. We were loaded with provisions. We're now a month and a half into our trip, okay, to Ukraine. We're on an Oyster 595. A lot of people are out there. It's like, there's no way you could pull this off. I get it. I really do get it. But this is digital sailing. You don't know about. Oh, it's raining outside now. I'm here in the marina at Belleville. We're digitally sailing. So, 1,272.39 nautical miles into our trip. We're in St. John's. Okay, it's a month and a half in, and this is our imaginary sailing trip. We've managed to provision our boat, and now we're going to cross the Atlantic and try to get to the Ukraine. All right. Everyone out there's like, you can't do that. What are you talking about, dude? Just crack a beer, okay, and enjoy the digital sailing trip. I get it, guys. This is how I explored the world. This is what really got me into sailing. I was like, if I can do these trips, I can do anything. Maybe I could learn how to do it digitally, and you can. I get that. But what became really important to me was figuring out a digital trip is very important. It's like you get an idea of how big the world is online, and then you actually go sail, and then you understand how big the world actually is. Okay? So this is from my perspective. Nothing's accurate. We're going to the Ukraine, guys. Okay? I'm trying to keep this video under 25 minutes, so let's move on. We're a month and a half into our trip, Oyster 595. Our boat's full of provisions. I got 4 crew members. What we're going to do is we're going to leave St. John's, and we're going to cross the Atlantic. Now, most people don't realize it, but there are islands in the middle of the Atlantic here. You don't have to go right to Scotland or Britain or Dublin. You can cross over. There's Bermuda, which is down here. Okay, or you can go up and into these islands here. And now, let's take a look at Santa Cruz. This is an extra 1,000 nautical miles. So we're probably going to be at sea for like 2 weeks. If you're sailing 24 hours a day on a big boat like an Oyster 595, you could probably cover, on average, between 7 and 8 knots every every hour. So we could move quickly. So let's say we're 2 months into our trip and we want to go here, but we don't know anything about it. Oh, that rain's really coming down. It's the end of the winter here. And the problem with these islands is there's nowhere to go. I mean, they're just cliffs. There are a few areas you could probably sneak in if you wanted to and dock your boat right here. I've never been here, so I don't even know. Anyway, this is a digital sailing trip. We're having fun. All right, so we're now 2 months into our trip, and we've made it to the islands of, what are they called here? What is this? Isla des Flores. Do you hear the sound of my mast leaking? You hear that in the background, guys? I don't care if you have a new Oyster 595, your mast will always leak. And I'm on a boat that is as old as I am, okay? So I don't care. It's a tough life. You're going to live on a sailboat. It's going to be a pain in the ass. There's going to be days when you're out on the helm and you're like, I love life. I'm a sailor. I'm doing what I really want to do with my life. At the end of the day, no. It's punishment. You got to be a glutton for punishment. But we're on this sailing trip, we're on a nice Oyster 595. Okay, so we're 2 months into our trip. We made it to Falal Grande. Okay. Now, I have some experience with some of the islands here. I've actually been out here. There's a very famous wall that everyone signs. It's somewhere around here. Make a comment down below if you know what island that is. So we're now a month and a week into our trip, and we're gonna go to somewhere I know. I've been up here somewhere. I know there's a big city here. I haven't actually been here, to be honest with you, but we go in here, we provision, we go to the yacht club, we travel around the island on scooters, and everyone has a great time. We fly drones. We're now 2.5 months into our trip, okay? And we've done 2,612.6 nautical miles. Some of the crew members get off, some new crew member comes in. I have the boat hauled out. We do a bottom job, here. And I don't even know if you can do it here. We're digitally sailing. We don't know anything. We're brand new sailors. This is what it's about. It's like, if you're going to explore the world and learn how to sail, the first thing you want to do is just come in here and just get an idea of the geographics of the area. It's hypothetical. You can do anything you want. We're on an Oyster 595. It's a $2 million boat. Anyway, we're 2.5 months into our trip, and we decided to do one long passage. Really bang out some. I've been to Funchal. Funchal. It's actually pronounced Funchal. So I've been here. It's in Madeira. Okay, they got solar panels on the roof. Now you're starting to get into really hot weather. We go here. We're now 3 months into the trip. Okay, we took our time. We had a problem with the engine, so we got like some parts here, a new alternator or something like that. We stayed here for a week and provision. So we're 3 months into our trip. We're 3,000 nautical miles into our trip. Okay. Guys, again, this is very rough. It's hypothetical digital sailing. If you want to go sailing, you can go sailing after this. After you watch this video, when we get to the Ukraine, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think, knowing I've sailed down to the Caribbean. I've sailed from Bermuda to Antigua. I know what it's like. I know what it's like out there. I'm going to talk a little bit about the reality of the situation. If you stick around in the end of the video, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so let's continue on. We're 3 months into the trip, 3,000 nautical miles into the trip. We're going to go right to Gibraltar. All right, we're going to go up. Boom, look at that. Okay, so we did a 2-week passage here. There was some bad winds and some dead spots, so it took a long time. Now, we are going to go into Gibraltar, and we're going to hang out here. We're now 3 months and 1 week into our trip. Or would that be right? Whatever it is. Okay, 3.5 months, let's say. We go and we anchor here where these other boats are. All right. They're not even boats. There's a marina here. We go to this marina, okay? We hang out here. We rented a dock here for like 2 weeks and enjoyed Gibraltar. Okay, so now 4 months into our trip. Okay, and honestly, this would probably cost us, like, for 4 people to do it. Oh yeah, we're at least 15 grand into the trip now, by the way, including repairs and the oil and diesel and everything, and food and flights. So we're about 15 grand into the trip here. I think we could do it in 15 grand with an Oyster 595. All right, so we're 4 months into our trip. We're going to leave Gibraltar. All right. And what we're going to do at this point, I'd probably hop up the coast. Now let's take a look at this. We've gone far here. Let's enjoy the Mediterranean. So here we are at, let's go to the point here we anchor for the night. Okay. So we're roughly 3,800 nautical miles in. So let's go to 39, which is a day's sail, right? See, it's crazy. The Mediterranean is actually small. You can cover these islands here. You can actually go around here. I've been to Malaga. I actually been to Malaga like 100 times. I used to go in here on cruise ships. You can go into Malaga and see Spain and go in and get what you need. Okay, we're now 4 months and 2 weeks into our trip, 4.5 months. Okay, and we do some serious sailing. Now, there's a bunch of islands, sort of. There are some islands. Once you get into Italy, let's say we're, I don't know, 4 months, 3 weeks, we make it here. Okay. Cartagena. All right. And we start seeing the islands in the distance here. All right. I've been to Ibiza. I've been to Palma de Mallorca. Okay. Let's say we're 4 months, 3 weeks into our trip. We explore Palma and we cross into Ajajo. Where is Ajajo? Ajajo is here. This is where cocaine was invented by the French, by the way, in that city. Okay, this is where Napoleon used to hang out. I've been here before. I have a cool story, and maybe I'll tell it in a future video. I almost died in one of these beaches here. Like, the entire population of the beach was on one side, and I was like, let's go into the waves. And a wave crashed over me and almost killed me. Like, and I stepped in 10 feet, and the wave was tiny, and then I looked up, and there was like a tidal wave, and it knocked me over and knocked the stars out, and I hit my head on some rocks. A buddy of mine's got it on video. My buddy from the cruise ship days. Yeah. So, all right. So we're now 5 months. We spent some time in the Mediterranean. All right. Now we're getting sort of serious. We got to get in because the beginning of the next summer is now coming in play. You gotta understand, if you go anywhere north of here, we're trying to go to Ukraine, right? We're actually probably gonna get. There's no way you could probably get into Ukraine, but we can go to Romania. I know that. We could probably stay in this area here, but so that's what we're aiming for now. So we're 5 months in. We left in November. Okay, so whatever that is. So we know we're going into the summer, but it's relatively, it's winter here. So that's why we're going to stay a little bit south now, because it's getting cold up here, So we're now, let's say we're 5.5 months into the trip. On the 6 months marks, we get into Greece. And at this point, we got to haul out. Okay, we got to haul out. Got to get another bottom job done. We're going to do an inspection of the rigging. Our generator broke, the own end. So we had to pay $9,000 to have that replaced. And there was a problem with the rudder. And there's always going to be problems on a sailboat. Just assume that things are going to break. Okay, or you're going to drop shit overboard, or you need to get new EPIRBs, or something happened. So we're going to go into Athens here. We're going to spend the exact 6 month mark. We're in Athens, and we've gone into one of the marinas. Let's find a marina here. Let's take a look. Where would we stay in Athens? This is what I love about digital sailing. You get to explore. It's so hypothetical. I get it. Let's take a look. The city of Athens is here. There's got to be a marina up here. Oh, and there is. All right, so let's go back a bit. Boom. So let's say we sail into Athens. All right. We go to the yacht club here. And we're 6 months, 1 week into the trip. And we're already in Greece. And it's pretty cold right now, But it's starting to get into summer now. And it's the spring here. All right. So we enjoy some time in Athens. We go visit. Now we're 7 months in. You could easily spend 3 weeks in a place like Athens, right? Maybe there's a better marina there. Probably. Anyway, we decide to move on. So we're 7 months into the trip. Look at all the marinas here. Look at this. But if you actually zoom in, this is all super yachts. Maybe, look, I bet you that's an Oyster 595 maybe there. Oh, yeah, there's some nice yachts here. When I was in Antigua, you guys will see in future videos. It's crazy. It's like some of the yachts are like 100-meter class. The mast is 150 feet high. It's crazy. All right, so we had to change marinas because that one was expensive. So now 7 months and a week into our trip, we go to this marina and we stay here in Provision. And, there's a really cool sailing channel called Sailing Gently. And he talks about other things like the prices of these places in Greece, okay, in Athens. Check it out. So we're 7 months in, and we decide to go around this point. We're now 7 months in a week, right? Exploring this area. Our mission is to get up and into the Red Sea to actually get up here, right? So we'd have to plot course and Island hop through here. We end up here. Now it's 7 months, 2 weeks, and we end up here. Okay, let's look and see if there's any marinas here. This is digital sailing. You can look around. You know, it's an experiment. You know, you can see, get an idea of what's there, what's not. There's not much here. I mean, let's try this place. Oh, there's a couple yachts here. They're probably fishing boats. You want to see if you see sailboats, you know there's cruising grounds on Google Earth here. I don't see any marinas. Okay, so we pull into this place here, and we anchor for 2 days, and everyone gets rest, and you know there's probably a couple. Yeah, we got some sailboats here. I think. See anything really? Maybe not. Yeah, at this point it's all fishermen. Anyway, we pulled in here. We're now 7.5 weeks into our trip, and we're like, okay, we got to get to the Ukraine. So we go around this point here. Takes a day. And we get up past these islands of Greece into this area here. Now, how do we get into the Red Sea? Let's take a look. Is it even possible? All right, so we go here. We're now like 8 months into our trip. Okay, it's like that. It's all weather-based, guys. Don't think you can... Whatever you think it's going to take, double it, in my opinion. So we come in here, but we have, right now, the boom vang broke. Something's going to break, like every 1,000 nautical miles. The boom vang broke, so we had to wait here until the 8-month point to fly in parts. So we docked here, and then, like, the Army let us stay at this marina here or something. And we ordered in parts, and 8.5 months has gone by, and we got parts for the boom vang, and we're going to go into Ukraine. Okay, so we're 8.5 months in. This is the type of shit that happens. Just assume you're not just going to go to your destination. Believe me, it's not going to happen. So much has happened by now. I got new crew. I've actually got a new wife now, and she's pregnant. Or you know what I mean? Like, anything can happen. Who knows what's going to happen out there? All right, so let's move on and see if we can reach Ukraine. We're now first week of our 8-month trip, and we make it up to this point here. What is this called? Burhanli. And of course, there's no marinas up here. Of course, we're sailing to Ukraine. I mean, you'd have to be crazy to do something like that. Anyway, there's a really good spot of weather, and we're now into the beginning of the summer. We anchor here, and there's a guy here that owns a winery, and we go in and talk to him, and we do cool YouTube videos. We fly the drone over the fields, and you know, some of the crew get off and take a bus and go into like whatever, and things happen. This is sailing, right? So we're now 8.5 months into our trip, and we're finally getting somewhere. All right. Now we're eight. It's gonna take a year to sail to Ukraine. That's the reality of it. I honestly think that you could probably do it quicker than what we're doing here. I'm just trying to be realistic. You can't just sail to the Ukraine, guys. It's gonna take a long time, and I'm being realistic here. Okay. So we are now approaching the Red Sea, and we're 9 months. We're 8.5 months in, and what is this? What are these places? Oh, there's a marina there. My God, you could go in there and just dock, and I bet you no one would say shit. You just pull up here, and you're like, boom. You go ask the people, are like, what are you doing here, dude? Okay, we're now like in the first bit of the summer. It's really hot here. All right, 8.5 months into our trip. And we kind of make our way up this way. So we make it to Istanbul 8 months and 3 weeks into our trip. And we anchor here and do some provisioning, get everything ready because we're going to the Ukraine. And everyone in Istanbul is like, you can't go there. They're going to pull you over. They're going to board you with guns. You could be a Russian asset. Okay? So we're like, we're doing it anyway. We're Canadians or Americans. Right? We're Americans. We do whatever we want. We get some new drones. We do some provisioning. We fill the boat with diesel, and we're now 9 months into our trip. We're like, we're going to Ukraine. It's just past the mid part of the summer. Okay. And we start sailing in here. We're now a month and a week into our trip. And you're going to stop at places. I'm sure you could get here quicker, like 3 months, if you just went there without going anywhere. We're exploring. We're enjoying sailing. You know, we're like, let's go into this port. Or like, somebody contacted me on YouTube and wants me to stop by and come and show us his vineyard. Or, you know, there's so much things that happen when you're cruising on a sailboat. It's so important. Okay, so we go to this cool like marina here. Okay, and we end up staying here for a week and a half, and we provision and get diesel. And okay, so we're now almost the first week of the 9 months trip. We're like, we're going to the Ukraine. We get into the Red Sea. Look at that. Look at this. We're in the Red Sea. There's jets flying over. There's people. You can't go here. You can't go there because it's Ukraine. It's under attack. All right. So we're now almost a year into our trip, and we end up here. Okay. Remember, it's just a hypothetical. We've done 6,100 nautical miles, and I pull an Oyster 595 into here. It's late summer now. Okay. And I pay a company to haul out. All right, this company here hauls me out, and he stores the boat for whatever, 10 grand for the season. And we sail to the Ukraine, and I spend the rest of my time in an apartment in Bucharest or something while the winter's happening. You know what I mean? That's what we did. We sailed to the Ukraine, guys. It is possible. This is the type of thing that I used to do. And then you press done, right? Like, look at that. You can zoom out and look at your trip. Look. We sailed all the way from Toronto, Canada, to the Ukraine. Well, essentially Romania, Bucharest. But what happened is the government in Bucharest were like, you can't go into Ukraine. You'll get boarded, and you know it's not a good idea. And we chickened out, and we decided to spend our time in Romania. So that's the reality of the situation. Everything's going to change. Whatever you think it is in your mind, it's not going to be that way. I used to look on Google Earth here and pretend that I was sailing down to the Bahamas, and I would do it over and over again. And I would get into details. Like, I was like, I'm crossing at Stay 4. I'm crossing Lake Sylvia. And it was nothing like it actually was. And that's the thing. But you get an idea of how big the world is and how far you can go. It took me roughly 3 months to get down here, but I was taking my time and enjoying places, and really, you know, I was in here where the Air Force bases were. You know, I was in, you know, I was in down here in Myrtle Beach when it was New Year's. You know, I went down here to Jacksonville, not Jacksonville actually. I went to Fernandina. I was there. There's videos about all this, right? You can watch it. You can watch my journey. I was in this part of Florida here. Once you get into this part of Florida here, it's crazy. It's all ICW, and it's bridges, and you know, you can get cheap diesel there and good. There's a place just so, to make this. If you're going to go to Fort Lauderdale, the best place to stay is this lake right here. It's P-shaped lakes, Golden Isles Lake. I was here. You can watch the video there. Oh my God, there's a Walmart right here. So you can anchor here and pull your dinghy up and provision and get everything you need, get your boat figured out. There's people that'll come and fix your boat for you right here because it's Florida. You can get anything, right? You can provision, do whatever you want. The cops don't bug you too much, though they did visit every 2 weeks. I was there for like a month. And then you can go down and position yourself in, well, don't go here anymore because looks like you won't be able to anchor here anymore. Depends. I'm going to make a video about this. This is going to be an ALA, an anchoring limited area. You won't be able to go here anymore and anchor here. So you'd have to go into like the Bay Biscayne or something. And then maybe down to like No Name Harbor or something. No Name Harbor, I've been there. There's a video about that. That's No Name Harbor there. You know, you can get your sorted, your provision, you're ready. You're just waiting on weather. And you cross into the Bahamas. You know, you cross the bank, get into Nassau, and then you're home free. Down through the thorny path into Georgetown, you know, deep into the Caribbean. Oh, yeah. And then you get down to where I was. I was in Antigua, which is let's take a look just quickly. Antigua's up here. Antigua's Central Caribbean. Jesus, where is it? Just sailed there, Antigua and Barbuda. There we go. We ended up here in Nelson's Harbor. which is, I believe it's right. Nelson's Dockyards. Where is it? I just sailed. See, this is the thing. Like, it's never what you think it'll be. It's always Rendezvous Beach. Come on. I mean, where is this place? I was in Antigua recently. Nelson's Dockyard. Let's look. If you really need to look for places, you can say, okay, Nelson's Dock Yard. Boom. Yeah, so it's there. Look at this. So this is what's going to be in the videos coming up on the channel, is me kind of milling around here. My buddy Tom Wood let me crew on his boat, and we sailed from Bermuda down to here. That's going to be in upcoming videos. It was amazing. You know, I climbed this mountain here. There's a really cool, like, you can see cannons and shit here. Oh, it's beautiful. Once you've been down in places like this, you can't unsee it. You're like, oh my God. It's really something else. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. We went sailing. We sailed to the Ukraine. It gives you an idea of what you can do online. And I've purposely done it sloppy. Maybe we'll go into further detailed videos about what I actually think. But the whole point is you can go sailing tonight. You can just, just pretend you're sailing and take it day by day through Google Earth. And it gives you an idea of how far you can really get. It took me, 3 months to get down to Miami. Just you can kind of figure it out. It's like, okay, if it took me 3 months to get down to Miami, that's about, 1,200 nautical miles. You can extrapolate that information. It's probably going to take me another 3 months to get over here. And that's stopping, seeing things, enjoying life. You can get an idea of what it would take to actually go around the planet, right? So in the future, I plan to sail across the Pacific. Think about this. Look at how big the Earth is. This is crazy. Like, dude, I've been to Fiji, okay? I've been to New Zealand. I've been in Surfer's Paradise in Australia. But I really want to go and see India, Madagascar. I really want to see this part of the world, and that's where we're going to sail to on the channel. So stick around, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you really like this sort of content, make a comment down below. I'm sure it's going to be... Most YouTubers, they just... skip over the comments that are really sort of hateful and just like, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? This is fun. We went sailing tonight. We enjoyed ourselves. We sailed to the Ukraine. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make a comment down below. Would it take a year to get to the Ukraine? I don't know. Any thoughts that you have, just make them in the comment down below. If you want to join my Patreon page, it's Sailing EV. I'll leave a link in the description down below. You can join Patreon. It's only $3 a month. It helps me out. Like, dude, wait till you see the videos that are coming up here. I mean, I'm broke. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off, but I'm not broke. I have a strategy in place, and I have a lot of people helping me right now, donating. So we are going to go sailing around the world. I know that. And that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Captain Michael signing out. We'll see you in the next one. Remember, you can go sailing at any time you want. You don't need a sailboat. You can do it right here. Never forget that. Captain Michael signing out. We'll see you in the next video.